One thing that we're doing with the Arizona Nonprofit Awards is going and visiting nonprofits and doing a walkthrough interview and a tour so that we can help them showcase what they do, what their needs are, and their mission so that it amplifies their reach, people know about them, and it can hopefully bring in more support. With the Arizona Nonprofit Awards, we're paying forward money that we get through our donors to the nonprofits that are chosen by the community. I think the biggest success I've had so far is just connecting with nonprofits in the community one by one.
Doing business and the daily business and creating businesses is also a form of art.
People trust people more than they trust entities. So show them the face with the vision as well. So my philanthropy work started very early. I remember my first fundraiser being in 5th grade, and we were doing a penny drive to save the rainforest. This was my way of combining marketing and my love of nonprofits to lift them up and give them exposure and recognition.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the official I Am Voice podcast.
Be whoever you want to be.
Welcome back to another episode of I Am Voice podcast. Let me introduce you to the one and only Liz, or Beth, as she likes to be called. However, I'm going to call you Liz. Is that okay if I call you Liz?
Call me Liz.
Thank you very much. So how are you doing this morning?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me on, Vos. I was hoping to find some street parking, but to no avail. So I'm in the parking garage. It wasn't too bad.
I still love downtown Phoenix, though.
Always, yes. It's always something fun going on. Always something being built or taken down, and it's constantly evolving. I like all the things that I'm seeing they're doing with historic properties and revamping vacant lots. There's a lot of great things going on in Phoenix.
Well, that has a lot to do, Liz. That has a lot to do with all the beautiful people that are getting involved in projects like this. One of the things I love about Phoenix and downtown Phoenix is the community, the artist community, the nonprofit community, the business community, and how everybody comes together to actually make a difference. That's something that you don't see everywhere.
Right. I think Phoenix really prides itself on trying to build community, and I definitely love that movement. And what we've created with the Arizona Nonprofit Awards is something that really amplifies that.
And I'm proud. I'm going to show off. By the way, I love bragging rights. You know what I mean? So anything I do for somebody, they're like, oh, thank you. I'm like, no, just to let you know, I get bragging rights. So guys, I am officially a contributor to Arizona Nonprofit Awards. So we're going to put in the link, the website, so you can check out all the information. And you see Liz right here. She is the one that started it all. And now she's got a great team. I just saw the board of directors in there. Wow, you got some heavy hitters.
Thank you. Thank you. We have Andrew Starr. He's the owner of Party Masters AZ. So he's really well connected in the community, especially with people who like to throw big parties. So that's good. Andrew DiCarlo, and he is one of Phoenix's best marketers, videographers, and friend of mine. And we also have Donna Beadle from CompuDot, and that is a great nonprofit out in Mesa, and they provide free laptops to kids for school.
Wow, very interesting. That makes such a big difference, right? One of the things that we have here in the city is it became a really big city, and we have big city problems. One of the ones is the help that our youth needs, right? I love Phoenix. I live in South Phoenix, right? I could live in, any other place, but I love the community in South Phoenix. I really do. And a lot of work that we do as a community and the community events that we do in Plexus, Unity, and Lucha Voz is guided towards helping the youth and also giving exposure to the nonprofits. That's why when you send me the information, I was like, that's pretty impressive. When I read the website, I truly saw the feeling of wanting to help. How did this get started? How did this even come to be?
Oh, thank you for asking. So my background is in marketing. That's how you and I met many years ago. I helped Recess Dental start their organization and their philanthropic program of giving back to the community, free dental care. Since then, I've worked with different nonprofits, different for-profits, but doing marketing and philanthropic marketing. I just love nonprofits and what they provide to the community. This was my way of combining marketing and my love of nonprofits to lift them up and give them exposure and recognition.
One of the things I'm noticing, and one of the things I saw through your board of directors and talking to you and having these conversations, is a lot of our projects, everything we do, people like you and I, right? It's a reflection of who we are and what we've been through and what we've seen and what we learned and what we learned to do and not to do. So I'm very curious, right, of who Liz is. Give me a little background on what you've done and what personally has influenced you to do these projects.
So my philanthropy work started very early. I remember my first fundraiser being in 5th grade, and we were doing a penny drive to save the rainforest. And I've done little things here and there growing up, but when I got into corporate work and I gravitated towards the marketing side of things, my love and curiosity of marketing and philanthropic initiatives really blossomed. And I picked up a lot of things about the nonprofit community while working through several nonprofits here in Phoenix. And I've kind of taken those experiences and my marketing knowledge and combined them to create this program.
And that involves so much creativity. Are you an artist?
I would call myself an artist. Photography, videography. I'd say videography is probably my best art form.
I can tell that you're an artist because everything that you're creating, the way you do your work, what I've seen you and what I witnessed when we worked together in a project was very well put together. And it had a lot of soul and heart, right? Of not somebody that's just doing their job or complying with whatever the client is asking for. But when you really put your touch in it, when you're really putting a little bit of your heart in it and a little bit of your identity in it, that's what I can see in these projects that you're working on, which is a form of art.
Absolutely.
Right? I believe, and please let me know your thoughts, but I believe doing business and the daily business and creating businesses is also a form of art.
Absolutely. You have to really be creative in order to stand out in marketing. And you kind of have to be a storyteller as well, being able to communicate the ideas and the concepts you have in an artistic way so that it's appealing to people.
That is such a big, I can't even express it, just a big advice for everybody listening, right? For everybody that's struggling in what do I do now? Because a lot of companies, a lot of entrepreneurs, they get stuck into a million ideas, or they know who they are at the beginning, and somehow through the struggles, they lose their identity, right? Through the financial struggles, through financial opportunities, a lot of times through other factors that affect people, pulling them 1,000 ways. And now we have this beautiful example of kind of like a little bit staying true to who you are, what you do. So that's very impressive. What's one of the biggest success stories that you've done?
I think the biggest success I've had so far is just connecting with nonprofits in the community one by one. One thing that we're doing with the Arizona Nonprofit Awards is going and visiting nonprofits and doing a walkthrough interview and a tour so that we can help them showcase what they do, what their needs are, and their mission so that it amplifies their reach, people know about them, and it can hopefully bring in more support.
Making a difference.
Yeah.
Wow. And this is something that is free for these nonprofits?
Yep. I visit them, and it's a free visit, a free 3-minute video that I put out on my social channels, and it's content that they can share, put on their website. But it's a free, valuable asset in order to help them tell their story as a company.
Very impressive. Who are some of the nonprofits that you work with so far?
Let's see. So far, I have visited A New Leaf, and they are a family's homeless shelter resource organization. I have visited with Justice Center, and they are a homeless resource center for specifically 55 and older in the community. Just this past weekend, I went and visited a program called Unbridled Pathways, and that is equine type therapy for women to help with connection and authenticity. I have several other interviews lined up of different nonprofits that want me to come and visit, and I'm excited to help them tell their stories.
That is amazing. That's very, like I said, that's making a difference, right? I'm very excited to get to know more. I got 1,000 questions for you, but I know we only got one episode, so we're gonna have to bring you back and follow your journey on how this project is doing. How did this board of directors came to be? How did you meet them? How did you choose them? Because I know some of them, and I can tell they were very carefully chosen.
I actually just got lucky. So with Andrew DiCarlo, I've known him for over 10 years doing photography and videography together. He was one of my mentors and taught me a lot about how to tell a story visually. With Andy, through Andrew, I was able to meet him and have been doing photography for him for many years. And with Donna, I was at a conference that the Virginia Piper Charitable Trust was putting on, and they were there learning about media stuff, and her and I just hit it off, and I told her about my idea, and she said, hey, well, if you make the Arizona Nonprofit Awards, let me know because I want to be on your board.
Do you guys help businesses connect with nonprofits as well? For example, I know a lot of businesses, I do a lot of business consulting for quite a different amount of clients. And one of the questions is, who do I get involved with, or how can I help the community? And I would love to have some people to refer them to.
Yeah, absolutely. One thing that I think is really great about the Arizona Nonprofit Awards is that a lot of people want to give charitable contributions, but they don't really know who in the community to give it to. With the Arizona Nonprofit Awards, we're paying forward money that we get through our donors to the nonprofits that are chosen by the community. The nominations and voting will be done by the public. So it's really a vote saying, hey, this nonprofit here is doing good work in our community. So the prizes that will go to those nonprofits that win will help them continue their missions.
When are these awards taking place? What are the plans that you guys have? And what are some of the prizes that these nonprofits are getting?
I'm still looking for a venue sponsor, and the grand prize will be Nonprofit of the Year, $10,000. A runner-up will be like Community Impact Award for $5,000, then $25,000, and then there will be category awards for, best animal nonprofit, best environmental nonprofit, etc. So that way, it's something that is really enticing for nonprofit communities to join in on, and we'll give them marketing assets to say, hey, push this out, vote for us for Arizona Nonprofit of the Year. We have a chance to win $10,000.
That's very impressive. And you're saying it's going to be towards the end of the year, around 1 month?
The voting and nomination phase, I'm hoping to start this summer, and then in the fall should be the gala.
Wow. You know what? One of the biggest blessings that I have through entertainment and through everything that we do is being very connected with the venues, right? So I know a lot of them are going to be watching these videos. So a message to all the venues out there: Arizona Nonprofit Awards is looking for a venue, and this is something that you want to bring to your venue, because let's think about some of the benefits. We're going to keep it real. Let's think about some of the benefits, the exposure that you're going to get for participating in a project like this, the credibility that you give to your venue, whether it is a ballroom, whether it is a restaurant, whether it is a events venue. It doesn't even matter. Being involved with the community, it's something that is very important, vital to everyone's business. And having this opportunity is a golden opportunity.
Yeah. One of the points about this initiative is that it's supposed to be a very high visibility initiative. A lot of our budget is going to go to marketing initiatives so that Arizona Nonprofit Awards has high visibility, and subsequently the nonprofits that are participating. So any of our sponsors, we're going to be pushing out paid media, earned media, billboards, social media stuff. So it's going to be a great opportunity to put any brands in front of the Arizona public.
Do you guys already have some media partners other than the I Am Voice podcast?
Let's see. No.
Okay, that's something that we definitely need to work on. This is a beautiful journey. And I'm blessed that we're having this conversation right now, because as we go through, maybe every once in a while, we're going to bring you in. And what are the updates? Who are we working with now, right? And everybody watching, who can help us, right? Make those connections.
Yeah. I will shout out to AZ Big Media. They published my press release, and also Sedona.biz published my press release a few weeks ago. So that was really cool.
Amazing. How much traction are you guys getting with a nonprofit? Since, I mean, you're working already with some very important ones.
So we're still just putting ourselves out in front of the nonprofit community. I'm doing a lot of work on social media to try to interact with nonprofits that have profiles there, so that they know that we're here and that we're trying to create this support program. I've also, partially a media partner, Best Companies AZ. They are responsible for the Best Places to Work Phoenix Business Journal program. They were the ones that created that. And her name is Denise Gredler, the founder of Best Companies AZ. She would like to partner with us and help spread our message to the nonprofits that she works with and the corporations that she works with.
That is a very well-structured initiative that you guys are doing. It's a tremendous amount of work. How big is your team right now?
It's just me.
Beautiful. And the board of directors contributing and everything going?
Helping with marketing, strategic planning. But most of the hours are just me trying to plug away and waiting till we get some sponsorship funding so that I can start to grow the team. One thing that we want to do once the program is kind of perfected is start to offer educational classes to nonprofits, networking events, different things like that will help bring the nonprofit community together.
That's amazing. And we are so blessed, everyone, to be able to have this conversation at such an early stage, because it's rare, right? When you get somebody to the podcast that is at the position where you are. Most people go to the podcast and everything once they already have a project running. They're doing the work for nonprofits that are been running for decades. But now seeing an individual, an amazing individual, by the way, taking the initiative, the time, the work to put all this together, already having such a strong connection and relationship with a lot of people, that's really impressive. And this started in 5th grade?
I'd say so, yeah. I was a fundraiser since 5th grade. Yeah. I wanted to just make a difference in the world. And especially these days when there's so much uncertainty about what's going on in the government, I feel like at the community level, we really need to band together to lift each other up. We can't look to the government to solve our problems.
You know, one thing that I was thinking on my way here while I was driving here is, I was listening to the news, everything that's going on with the government, all the uncertainty internationally, nationally, economically. And something that came to my mind, the first thought was instead of complaining and worrying, watch, listen, and focus on opportunities. Because anytime there's chaos, there's opportunity. Especially if you're an entrepreneur, if you're looking to grow, anytime there's chaos, there's solutions, right? So, and by providing solutions, we bring value. We're bringing so much value to the nonprofits that need this exposure. They might have the best intentions, but without exposure, what happens?
They don't get seen. They don't get the funding. They don't get the same opportunities.
What about you? Like, how are you handling all this workload? I mean, I'm going to pick your brain a little bit, right? Organizing this, putting this together. What inspired you to get everything started and say like, okay, I have this idea and how am I going to get it going?
I think just through my marketing company, I wanted to first help anybody market. I have small businesses, large businesses, but I really have a personal passion when I can get behind their mission. So when a nonprofit comes to me or I see, a charitable organization, that's something that really lights a fire in me and drives me and helps me ignite my creativity. And I do my best work when I'm more creative, and inspired. And nonprofits inspire me because they want to give back to the community. And I think that's beautiful.
That is very beautiful. That is. But in your corporate career, you've been doing this for 14 years, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
That's a very long time. That's a lot of experience, Liz.
Yeah. Thank you. I'm so grateful to Recess Dental for giving me my start in this career. I was just hired as, a front desk person, but then I went into the marketing role and really fell in love with helping people find philanthropic initiatives and opportunities. And that's what the labor of love was. You helped us there.
Yeah.
When you were DJing way back in the day at one of those events, people come and get free dental care. So I really have learned a lot in my career from those first years at Recess Dental. And then I applied that new knowledge to the different organizations that I've been with: Crossroads, My Kid, St. Joseph the Worker. And working in those marketing and development roles, one thing that I saw that was consistent in the nonprofit world was that it's hard sometimes to get revenue, to get funding, and spending is very tight. A lot of times they don't want nonprofits spending on marketing when, in fact, marketing is what is going to help them bring in more funds. So there's a lot of backwards thinking when it comes to nonprofits and marketing. And one of the things that I want to do with Arizona Nonprofit Awards is help to educate donors about those funding beliefs so we can turn it around and help make the nonprofit economy more sustainable.
That is a really big initiative. That's going to be very, very effective. I do find that as well. Many businesses, nonprofits, and many people, they know their trade, they know their specialty, they focus on what they do. However, the importance of today's marketing, how much has marketing changed in the last 10 years is impressive.
Yeah, absolutely.
What are some of the major changes that you've seen in marketing?
The major changes I've seen in marketing, probably just the attention span that has gone down so much. You really have to be fast. You have to be effective, flashy, or, in this case, in the philanthropy world, you really have to connect to the heartstrings. You have to communicate quickly and efficiently what you want to say.
Absolutely, especially through social media, people, reels, videos. What's the attention span there? Like maybe a minute, 30 seconds?
I think they say that you've got like 4 seconds to capture somebody's attention in
4 seconds. 4 seconds. Wow. That's very impressive. So for all the comments and all the reviews that we've gotten on the I Am Voice podcast, I want to let you know that thank you very much for listening more than 4 seconds, because we have people that have listened to the whole entire hour and 15 minutes that we got in a podcast. So thank you very, very much. One of the things that I really love about the work that we do is the participation that Coley Studio is currently doing. They're working with nonprofits. They're working with a lot of organizations to try to make a difference. And when people come here and due to the crisis on housing right now, people are looking for alternatives, such as having an extra unit, a little apartment, a casita on their backyard that they can rent, right? Everybody wants it, but now you go into the financing. Not everybody is ready, finance-wise, to be able to do it. Coley Studio actually is taking the time to nurture people, educate people on their options. They give them credit building paths. They give them a lot of information to make a difference. How is this going to help? Well, you're now bringing in and providing an extra space for number one, family, right? A lot of our kids now with today's housing prices, they can't just go and buy like 5 years ago,
Right.
right? So, hey, you got to make space for them while they're going to college, while they're making the income that they need to qualify in the city, or either move to Maricopa, Casa Grande, or something that's more affordable. There's such building a difference as well. And that's what I love about working here. What do you think some of the benefits of people having an extra unit, will be?
Absolutely. I love that you guys are doing that because it's really a capacity building tool. They're going to be able to have more room for their family. It can be a rental income unit. I think that the American dream that we were all sold is kind of going away now, where everybody's expected to grow up and then go off and you're successful if you buy your own home and move out of the house. Whatever happened, what was ever wrong with multi-generational living? What's wrong with having a family together where you can take care of each other?
And one of the things is that we had David. Do you know David from Barcoa? The owner, he used to do the taco festival, still does the taco festivals. He does a lot of festivals, very well connected on the business world, very well connected on his niche. He was talking about on the first episode of the I Am Voice podcast, the importance of having family together, especially the way that America takes way of their elders. Right? Maybe a group home, maybe here, maybe there. But now, thanks to this kind of projects like in Cody's studio, you're able to take care of your elderly mom, elderly dad or parents, and such the value of them bringing to the family. It's amazing. Experience, love, nurturing, free babysitters.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So, and one thing that I like about your project, right, is that it's very well in sync with what other people are trying to do. What if we could get everyone together?
Right.
Everybody to know each other. Imagine everybody joining forces. What would that impact?
That would be amazing. Let's do it.
You ready to do it?
Yeah.
I'm ready to do it. I'm excited. I'm inspired by your story. I'm inspired by the movement. I'm inspired by everything you've done. And I'm curious to know, out of all the organizations, right, in marketing, I'm in the same field, what has been the best or most meaningful project that you worked on so far?
I would say it's this one. The Arizona Nonprofit Awards is really something from my heart. It's built by my marketing experience and my love for doing good in the community. I feel like everything that I have done up to this point has led me here.
That must be a lot of hours, a lot of work.
It is.
Yeah, no, we were talking a little bit about, how we need to take better care of ourselves, right? And a lot of people in our same shoes list, they have dreams, and we're caught up between two worlds. We're caught up between the inspirational projects that we want to do and surviving.
Yes.
You know what I mean? We're like, I really want to do this, but I got to pay the bills. You know what I mean? And we got to find a happy medium. And those of us who have found the balance, that have found the talent to be able to do so, we need to take care of ourselves and we need to educate each other as a community, right? What are some of the ways that you personally deal with all the workload that you have? What is it that you do for fun?
Well, right now, working on the nonprofit really is fun for me. They say find a job that you love and you'll never work a day in your life.
Amen.
And I never really understood that meaning because there's jobs that I've had that I've enjoyed, but it still felt like work. This is the first time that I get energy from doing my work. And that's how I know that I'm doing what was meant for me.
Absolutely. Do you also do like any other extracurricular activities?
Oh, sure. Yoga. I have 2 kids, so they take a lot of my time. I've got pets and I like to garden. So, just trying to maintain a life as a single mom and build a nonprofit. it more than takes up all the available time.
That's very impressive. That's one of the key points of why we do this podcast, right? Like people see Liz, the activist, Liz building a nonprofit, but the human being behind it all. Oof, that's a tough subject, right? The challenges that we face as parents, right? Hours of work and again being caught between the world that we need to be in and the one we want to build and trying to make a balance, and our family is on the middle. It's tough, right? It's tough. How are you managing the time with family?
Well, luckily my younger one, she's 11. She is so fascinated and interested in what I'm doing. She'll actually come and sit with me and watch me edit. She is a little philanthropist herself. She loves doing charitable things in the community, and so she's totally bought into what I'm doing. So we do spend a good amount of time working together with things. Other than that, we play with the dogs. I always make sure to turn off the computer at a certain time so that it's just her, because there has to be a time where there's only attention for the kids and you're not dividing it with work. My older one, she's 19. She's off in college. She's up at NAU, and I don't get to see her as much as I would like to, obviously, because she's up in Flagstaff, but texting with her and calls keeps us close.
Yes. Thanks to technology. I'm in the same boat as well. I have grown-up kids already that they're no longer kids, but they're my kids, right? And thanks to technology, thanks to being able to do FaceTime and everything, we try to keep a close relationship. But you know what? You mentioned something very important. The way that you are actually managing time and self-disciplining yourself, that at a certain time you turn off the computer. That's something that 99% of us as entrepreneurs, as business owners, a lot of times we don't do. I made the mistake, and earlier in my life, I had the idea that my role as a father was to provide at all cost. I would be at 3:00 in the morning editing. I would be at 3:00 in the morning working on something. One time my wife walked in and she found me 3 a.m. in the morning with my hands on the keyboard, and I was asleep sitting down.
Oh, man.
Yeah. And when my kids were younger, I sacrificed a lot of that time. Because I thought I was doing the right thing, but I never stopped and just enjoy them for a little bit. Of course I did, just not as much as I would.
Yeah.
However, some of the best experiences of what you're having are you sharing them with your daughter.
Yeah.
How beautiful is that?
I love it. She's a little activist, like I said, herself. She was writing her own little political statements and posting them up around our neighborhood. So I was very proud of her.
Beautiful. What was those? If you don't mind me asking, what was a political statement?
Down with Trump. Don't trust Trump. It was a bunch of anti-Trump stuff. So.
No, and one of the things is you're teaching her to have a voice.
Yes.
Right? And one of the most beautiful things in this country is the freedom of speech.
Right.
Right? The freedom to free thinking. And teaching our kids that is so valuable, especially as they go into the workplace. She might not be a business owner. She might not be an entrepreneur. But if she goes into a business, now in today's world, you got to be a little vocal.
Yeah.
You got to be able to express your ideas correctly and be able to handle situations and be able to maintain your identity. Because look at the example of her mom. Her mom made a business out of being her identity and putting her creativity, who she is, into the marketing projects.
Oh, thank you.
I've seen it. I see your work.
I appreciate you.
I've seen it. And I got to see a little bit of what you did in Risas. I wish I would have seen a lot more, but now I get the opportunity.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm excited to partner with you and make changes in the community and lift up nonprofits. Back what you were saying about kids needing to learn how to use their voice and survive in the corporate world. That's kind of one of the reasons why I started my own nonprofit. I had spent some time in the corporate world, and, whether it's for profit or nonprofit, the office politics are all the same.
Of course.
And sometimes the squeaky wheel gets the oil, and sometimes the squeaky wheel gets replaced. And I've, had both situations happen. I've gotten the oil and I've been replaced. And I'm just glad that I was able to use my voice. And even though it made certain positions end, that was what needed to happen. I needed to be pushed into the direction of where I am now.
That's impressive. You needed to be pushed into the direction that you are now.
Right.
And now you're influencing so much people. You're influencing so many communities. You're influencing, your kids. Because at the end of the day, it starts at home, right?
Mm.
It starts at home. What does your daughter want to be? What does she want to be when she grows up? Does she tell you?
What does she want to be? Well, I think with many kids, it changes all the time. Most recently, she wants to be a professional dog walker.
Yeah, I love it. My daughter, Citlali, she's 16 and she's my little shadow. She loves business and she's taking up a lot of what I do in the same way. We shared a lot of things. My older daughter, Yuvia, as well. By the time I started doing a lot of this, she was a little older, so I didn't get as much to share with her. Mm-hmm. And her dream job was to work at Starbucks.
His dream job.
Her dream job was to work at Starbucks.
I've heard they're a great company to work for.
But the thing is, I don't know if she would actually make money because she loves like 90% of the menu.
Yeah.
So I think she will work for Starbucks drinks.
We'll work for Starbucks.
Well, and the thing is I'm not sure that's a good idea because, after 40-hour week, I don't know if she's going to end up owing money. Especially with $10 drinks.
She's one of their best customers.
Yeah, one of the best customers, but she loved it. And now she loves shoes. Mm. She loves shoes. She loves sneakers. I don't know much about shoes and sneakers and the whole culture, but did you know there's a whole culture of like expensive shoes, Jordans, all these things.
I've found that if there's something that you enjoy, there's a community out there for it. Whether it's, I just joined, I love crows, blackbirds, shoes, cars, people who specifically like Honda Civics. There's any little niche, you can find a whole community.
And look at the amazing marketing, right? I appreciate the marketing. A lot of times when I see products now, I appreciate the hustle. I appreciate like being sold. One of my best experiences was I was walking in Rosarito in Baja California, and we were at the beaches and I was walking through the little commercial strip that they have there, and there was this little girl that comes out of nowhere, and I'm watching one of the wrestling rings, right? One of the lucha rings in there. And she comes out and is like, "Hey, how can I help you?" And she must have been like 5 years old. And she was like clear language, everything. She spoke English and Spanish. She's like, "Hey, ¿cómo te ayudo? How can I help you?" She told me in 2 languages. And I was like, "Yeah, well," I told her in Spanish, "How much is this little luchador ring?" "Oh, it's actually $25. "Okay, well, that's a little expensive." "Oh, okay. No, I get it. If you don't have the money," she said to me, "if you don't have the money, it's okay. I can bring the price down to 20 just for you."
She said just for you?
And she must have been like 5 or 6 years old.
Adorable.
I need to recruit her for marketing.
Right?
Yeah, I went up and I was like, "Who's the mom?"
She's got that entrepreneurial spirit.
I was like, how do I hire your daughter? Can she work remotely?
She's a good sales pitch.
And that's what a lot of talented people like yourselves, right? You were able to create that demand. Marketing is such a outlet, for artists. Mm-hmm. And the fact that you started at the front desk, you got involved in marketing, and now I can see the marketing for your nonprofit and everything that you're doing. I actually showed it to a couple of people, Liz. I'm going to confess that.
Okay. Great.
And, people like to give feedback or see if, hey, is this something that you do? Well, we got 3 out of 4. The fourth one hasn't even read my message. They're always busy. They never answer my messages. We got 3 out of 4 people that said, I like it.
Amazing. I love it. Yeah. A lot of people have been very receptive and excited about it. I think this program is something a little bit different. And I think it's well timed with, like we were saying, what's going on with the government. We got to find a way to strengthen our communities and build up the people that help build up those people. So that's our slogan, is uplifting those who uplift others.
Ooh, that's a beautiful slogan. Can you repeat that?
Uplifting those who uplift others.
Lifting those who uplift others. Well, definitely count me in. I would definitely speak to Coli Studio as well. I'll introduce you to them. And Sergio, are you in?
Yay!
So Sergio is in, I'm in, and we're going to help in absolutely everything that I can. I can promise you that. The best thing I can do is the best thing I can offer.
I appreciate you so much. Just thank you for having me here and letting me share the story and my plans and deal with my stumbling over my words.
No, but you have such a great personality. Believe me, you have such a great personality. You have a lot of creativity. I love that about you. And I love the heart. You can definitely feel the soul in your project. What is some of the best marketing advice that you give the businesses that you worked in the past, right? When they're trying to figure out who they even are.
Be consistent. Set up your digital footprint. Put yourself on every platform that you can and create your brand, and then be consistent with it on every platform so that you have this identity that people will begin to recognize. I would say be my first advice.
Where do you see that most people lack when they come to you, the clients, and what do you see they lack the most? Is it on the digital footprint? Is it on finding out what is it that they want to, the message maybe?
I think so. It's a combination of the digital footprint and the messaging. You have to have the platforms set up, and then you have to tell your story on the platforms. So identify your brand, be consistent with it, and use it to tell the story that you want your customers or donors or whoever to know.
Absolutely. Connect with the story, the narrative, right?
Right.
The narrative, that's such an important part of what we do. And one of the things that inspired me to do business consulting, and I love that the most, right? I love that the most, doing the business consulting, helping companies get on their feet, helping businesses now I got a good marketing company that I can also refer them to. Yes. And I can be like, oh, look, this is what you need. This is a person that's going to help you find the vision and mission, right? And that's what I think and I experience a lot of people lack. Not that they don't have one, that they don't have a mission, or that they don't have a vision, but they don't know how to express it. You know? Do you find the same problem maybe with some of the clients that you work with?
Yeah. I think, being able to express it, tell the story, it needs to be visually. It needs to be something that people can absorb that information quickly. They can really understand what you're trying to say, and it connects to them in a personal and meaningful way.
I love it. Is there a way that you would recommend, right, for somebody listening right now? And okay, I would like to develop my vision and mission, but what is that? How do I even get started?
Well, the first thing that came to mind was just being authentic and put yourself out there in front of your customers or your donors or whoever it is. A lot of people say, oh, I'm not photogenic. I'm too shy to be in front of the camera. People trust people more than people trust entities. So they want to see the face behind the mission. So just don't be afraid to, pick up your phone one day and speak directly to your customers. I think that's a great way to interact.
Can you repeat what you just said? I think you're giving out gold right here for a lot of businesses. They're getting a free consulting session, literally.
Yeah.
You know, people, what was it that you said?
I said, don't be afraid to just pick up your phone and speak to your customers directly. People trust people more than they trust entities. So show them the face with the vision as well.
May I quote that?
Absolutely.
People trust people more than entities. People trust people more than entities. That's one of the reasons why we got Netflix and Hulu and we pay money, because we hate commercials. We hate to be sold, right? We are so burnt out of commercials, except for the Super Bowl. I love I'm not even a football fan, but I'll tune into the Super Bowl to watch the commercials.
It's a good time.
I want to see how creative people can get, but people trust people more than entities.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So you just got to put yourself out there authentically. Say, hey, this is me. This is the face behind the entity. This is what we're doing. And, I'm a human just like you.
Love it. I love it. And that's what so many people need. I'm going to send this clip. I'm going to edit this clip, Sergio, and I'm going to send it to so many of our clients, even to so many of the people here in Coley. I'm going to send it and encourage them to follow that. Not only that, when I do that, and every time that I have a client do that, a friend, because they're more than clients, I'm vested in. You know what I mean? I care about them beyond a business level. So every time I help one of my friends achieve that one point, I'm going to record them. I'm going to get that clip, and then I'm going to tag you in it. And I'm going to put that specific golden quote. Can you repeat it?
People trust people more than people trust entities.
And I trust you, Liz.
Oh, thank you.
I trust you.
I trust you. Listening to all the things that you're doing in the community just really speaks to my heart, and you're pure and your intentions are admirable, and I love what you're doing.
I appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, and thank you for being here in the I Am Voice podcast. Liz, please let us know, how can people reach out to you? How can people find you on social media, and what the website is?
Yeah, absolutely. My handle on all platforms is AZ Nonprofit Awards. The website is aznonprofitawards.org, and reach out to me there or on any of the platforms, and I'd be happy to connect.
Amazing. Well, thank you very much. And ladies and gentlemen, thank you for being here in the I Am Voice podcast, because you, such as this, could have been anywhere else in the world, but you decided to listen to this right now, listen to this today, and be able to connect, be able to help. Liz, how can we all make a difference in the community? Right?
Right. Support the Arizona Nonprofit Awards. We are specifically looking to lift up the nonprofits that do good work in our communities. So become a part of the mission, the movement, and like our pages, donate, become a sponsor, or just let me know if there is a nonprofit that you think that I should go and highlight. I would be happy to do that.
Amen to that. Such an important message. Thank you very much. This has been the I Am Voice podcast, and I approve this message.